Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily Devotional. I trust you are well. This week we're looking at Luke 12:35-57, and today we see that Jesus suffered to save us, and we may well have to suffer for him. Let's read from Luke 12:49-53. I have come to bring fire on earth, and how I wish it were already kindled, but I have a baptism to undergo, and what constraint I am under until it is completed. Do you think I came to bring peace on earth? No, I tell you, but division. From now on, there will be 5 in one family divided against each other, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. They will be divided. Father against son, son against father, mother against daughter, daughter against mother, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. Today's lesson: Jesus' baptism into death plunges us into a new life that involves salvation, but may also attract rejection. Let's say that again. Jesus' baptism into death plunges us into new life that involves salvation, but may also attract rejection. Many things can bring division into a family or community. As we approach this general election in the UK, but as we see politics around the world, we see politics can be a great cause of division. Many people make rules such as let's not talk about religion or politics because these things are so important that they can divide us. It can get very heated, can't it? In many countries, it's illegal to convert to Christianity, and one would certainly suffer a great deal if one were to confess conversion to Christ. Jesus begins this section with, I have come to bring fire on earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. This is a reference to the fire of hatred that many who know Christ will experience. To reinforce this idea, he adds, do not think I've come to bring peace on earth. No, I tell you, but division. From now on, there will be 5 in one family divided against each other, 3 against 2, 2 against 3, etc. I hope we can see that the cost of following Jesus may be rejection, as he was rejected, so we may well suffer rejection if we live openly and confess openly our faith and live for Jesus. As we stand up for Christ, the gospel and Christian values, we may suffer the fire of division as Jesus himself suffered. It's worth noting that when he says, how I wish it were already kindled, he's not speaking of some strange desire for this conflict. Rather, he's speaking of his desire to get past his suffering and to the other side of the cross. I wish it were already the other side of the cross. In these last days, we must be prepared to suffer the fire of conflict for our faith. In speaking of the fire of persecution, he's also speaking of the sanctifying, the improving, the maturing effect on those who are prepared to suffer for Jesus, as they seek to keep loving him, even if it means suffering for him. And some of the most mature Christians there are those who have gone through hardship for Jesus. Christians' suffering is likened to fire, and Jesus' suffering is likened to baptism. He says, but I have a baptism to undergo, and what constraint I am under till it's completed. Here, the reference to Jesus' baptism is about him going down into death for us and being raised to life for our salvation. The act of baptism is designed to be symbolic of Jesus' death and resurrection that saves us. Yes, we may have to suffer the fire and division for our faith, but Jesus has gone before us. He has suffered so much more. So in response, Jesus' baptism into death plunges us into a new life that involves salvation, but may also attract rejection. whilst of course we may never truly suffer for our faith. However, we will all face various pressures to be ashamed, compromise, or to keep our faith private. Let's remember Jesus' love as expressed in his baptism into death for us. Let's remember his resurrection and that he has promised to be with us. Let's trust that he will help us by the Spirit to remain faithful to him no matter what. God bless you.